Hi, it's Paula, and this is Whoever Holds the Stone. And there's only two people to hold the stone today because I didn't have enough oomph to ask anybody to come on. But it's Richard, of course, and my son Tom on drums, naturally, and me, Paula. And I am going to start off started off with a passage from the book that I just finished reading, Nickel Boys, which was hard to read because it was very depressing. But I learned a lot, and I love his language. He's a good writer.
Does the story have an arc? Is it depressing even at the end, or does it go up at the end?
Well, it's sort of an interesting overlap. So they start the story off with this archaeological dig where they're digging up bodies in bags in back of this boys' reform school, and then there's some interjection of people that were in the school. The end has a twist that I wasn't expecting, which I won't mention because I think it was interesting, but it's about some of the people that were there that survived and how they connect to each other and how they talk, and they meet sometimes, and especially this one individual, and he's the main character of the book. He had survived, and he talked about the beatings he had gotten at the school and how he had to escape the school because they were going to kill him, and these horrible things that this guy had to endure. So this was just he was talking about his current life, living in New York City, and it's about the marathon, and I don't really know who the narrator is, because it's saying he never missed a marathon. He didn't care for the winners. I think he's talking about his something.
Now, when you say missed, do you mean missed running or watching?
I believe he was not a participant.
Okay.
He never missed a marathon. I think he was talking about his father. He didn't care for the winners, those Superman types hunting world records, slapping down that New York asphalt over bridges and up the extra wide borough avenues. Camera crews and cars trailed them, zooming in on every drop of sweat and veins jumping in their necks, and white cops on motorcycles, too, to keep nuts from running out from the sidelines and messing with them. Those guys got enough applause. What did they need him for? The winner last year was an African brother dude from Kenya. This year it was a white guy from Britain. Built the same, skin color aside. Look at those legs, and they're going to be in the paper. Pros training all year, jetting all over the globe to compete. It was easy to root for the winners. No, he liked the punch-drunk ones, half walking at mile 23, tongues flapping like Labradors, tumbling across the finish line by hook or by crook, feet pounded to bloody meat in their Nikes. The laggards and limpers who weren't running the course but running deep into their character, down into the cave to return to the light with what they found. By the time they got to Columbus Circle, the TV crews had split. The cone cups of water and Gatorade littered the course like daisies in a pasture, and the silver space blankets twisted in the wind. Maybe they had someone waiting for them, and maybe they didn't. Who wouldn't celebrate that? The winners ran alone at the front, then the race course filled up with the pack, the normal Joes cramming together. He came out for the runners, bringing up the rear, and the crowds on the sidewalk and the street corners, those New York mobs so oddball and lovely that they summoned him from this uptown apartment by a force he could only call kinship. Every November, the race pitted his skepticism about human beings against the fact that they were all in this dirty city together, unlikely cousins. Here, everybody was around, and by some miracle, you didn't want to wring their necks, but gave them a hug. The whole city, poor people in Park Avenue types, black and white, Puerto Ricans on the curb holding signs and national flags and cheering the people who had been their opponents the day before in front of them at the A&P checkout, grabbing the last seat on the subway, walking like a walrus too slow on the sidewalk, competitors for apartments, for schools, for the very air, and those hard-won and cherished animosities fell away for a few hours as they celebrated a rite of endurance and vicarious suffering. You can do it. I just liked, it just gave me that, I felt that I've experienced that in New York. No, it's it's Colson Whitehead, Brian. Good writer. He's written a lot of books. It's all about African American experience, and there's a few others I'd like to read when I get around to when I find them at thrift stores. Basically, that's where I get my books. So Colson Whitehead. If you see anything by him, pick it up. I know, beautiful language. So that's my contribution today. And I finished that book while I was on my vacation, which we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
Never have I ever been on a vacation where I came home more tired than I left. And it's not because we had so much fun. Oh, good. I'm glad you know him. You know a lot of good writers, Brian. I'm not surprised. So I was traumatized by our Outer Banks vacation, and now I'm back here. I did sleep well last night. I had a rather one of those days where everything goes a little bit wrong, and I was very cranky because of it. So now I'm here in my happy place, even though I made my husband unhappy as I left. We are definitely here today, and I also brought my other amazing crazy book that I'm reading, and I started reading this. It's the complete memoirs of General W.T. Sherman, because of the girl, and I think I mentioned that either the last show or the show before that. I met this girl in Maine, and she said that this was the book that turned her on to American history. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take it as, but it's taken me years, like 3 years, 4 years before. Oh, Mick, the hurricane. No, it didn't scare me. It sandblasted me. I now have all fresh skin all over my body because of this. It wasn't on top of us. It was offshore, and it just created a situation where we couldn't sit on the beach or even go outside, or
So the tiny pellets of sand were being projected through the air onto your skin.
Yes. And
that you must probably had to go and squint your eyes.
I was glad I had glasses, because the glasses protected my eyes, but other people were coming away with sand in their eyes. So anyway, yeah, it was Mick. It was a what did I call it? A perfect learning experience vacation. So I will never go on vacation with a group of people again, especially a group of people I do not know. The only two people I knew there were my friend Ruth and her partner Mitch, and Ruth had family. Not that I didn't think they were nice people, but I didn't know them, and I did meet. I don't know if Lou is watching, but I sent him a message earlier. The one woman that came that was another friend of Ruth and Mitch's, she used to date Lou Mang's brother. And as a matter of fact, she lived with their family for a while.
So obviously Lou knows her.
Yeah, and I texted her him to tell him about her, because she had mentioned, oh my gosh, I know him, and then I said I know his brother, and then because she I guess lived in Kenmore briefly. But that was a moment, that was a pleasant moment, that whole small world.
Sure.
And there were several of those, but mostly we were isolated 8 miles away from our car. We couldn't get to my car, and there was a lot of noise. Far be it from me to want people to be quiet as early as we go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's not a thing.
Mm.
But, it was just a lot of alarms going off, a lot of people walking into our room. The lock didn't work in the middle of the night while we were sleeping.
Mm.
It was a catastrophe. And now I'm more tired than when I left. I really needed to rest. I needed a rest. I should have gone to the convent. Yes, Mick, I go to a convent. I know you're going to have questions. I'll go to the place in
Niagara Falls,
in Lewiston,
right?
yeah, Lewiston, and that's really quiet. And I only have to go for 2 days. That was the other thing I learned. I learned no more vacations with a lot of people. No more vacations that are over a week long.
Mm.
No more vacations where we are isolated and we can't get to our car.
Mm.
And vacations, 3-day vacations are good.
Mm-hmm.
You can relax enough in 3 days. After that, you get enervated.
In my life, you're the second person to tell me that. He visited his friend in Phoenix for 7 days, and he wrote to me and he said, "This is a mistake. It should have been a 3-day vacation."
Yeah, 3 days is nice. Yeah, well, they say after 3 days, fish and relatives begin to smell.
Stella Niagara. Is that the name?
Stella
of it?
Niagara. Very good, Brian. Yes. And it's like it used to be. I don't know what it is now. I haven't gone for a few years, but it used to be $50,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 2 meals. And
Do you eat with the nuns or by yourself?
I did eat with the nuns when it wasn't COVID. When it was COVID, you ate by yourself. And I never go when there's a group going. I always go when I'm the only person who's going to be there. And you stay in this little room that is got a marginally comfortable bed.
Did you find the nuns to be good conversationalists?
The first time I went, I found them to be very healthy and happy for eating pork 3 meals a day. I was like a little confused by that.
You mean like they have bacon and stuff?
Bacon for breakfast, ham sandwiches for lunch, and pork chops for dinner. Like they must kill their own pigs. I don't know, but they were very, very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Walked around. They were all retired. They're retired nuns.
Oh.
So it's a retirement home for nuns. And I didn't really talk much to them, but they seemed hardy, very hardy people. That was the impression I got. They didn't seem fragile like a lot of people that are in their 80s and 90s do. And then with all that pork, I just thought, is pork the magic ingredient to a long life? This is I think it's the low stress. I think when you are in a religious order like that, you have very low stress. I think that contributes a lot. You went to military school in Stella Niagara? Brian? That's a question for you. Yeah, so, all right. So that's that's as much of that vacation as... Oh, I didn't tell you the beginning, how it all started, how all this whole week started. I stayed with my niece one night in Washington, and we are... I like my niece Michelle. She's been here before. She's
I know.
very
I
nice.
remember her.
Yeah. So I was staying with her, and the night she was going to leave early in the morning the next day, and I wasn't going to see her in the morning. So I went to hug her, and they have a foster dog that they're taking care of until it gets adopted. And the dog, who was beautiful the whole time, sat with me, let me pet him. His name is Chico. He was so cute. I was bonding with him. When I went to hug my niece Michelle, He bit me in the ass. Like, he jumped up. He's not a tall dog. He jumped up and bit me.
Ooh.
And I was surprised I wasn't bleeding because that's how hard he bit me.
Wow.
And so that was the beginning of the end. But yeah. So
But that's the second time I've heard that in my life because when I would go to hug my friend Jody,
yeah.
the dog would go nuts. But we figured out a solution. While you're hugging the person, your other hand is petting the dog, and then the dog's okay.
Oh, so in that case, the dog. See, I think the dog was protecting Michelle,
Yeah.
because this is the only family it's known for quite some time, and I think it was abused.
I see.
So it was thinking I was going to hurt Michelle,
Yeah.
and so it bit me because it was protecting Michelle. But I think in that case, the dog was just jealous.
Animals can have jealousy.
Yeah, I think you're right. So yeah, so that's my sad story, and I don't know when I'm going to recuperate from this, because I just feel like it's. I thought Greg and I said when we came home, well, thank God, first of all, we're home, and really nobody knew we were home today, because we were supposed to drive home today, and we got out of there a day early.
Yeah. So you had a day to yourself.
So we had a day to unpack and to wash the clothes and to get the sand out of everything, and and then of course I never got to the grocery store because of the other things that I filled out paperwork from the county because they are asking questions about my income because I get Medicaid as a supplement to my Medicare. And so I had to make copies of my tax returns and Greg's, pay stubs. And it took me 4.5 hours to complete the paperwork that they wanted.
Wow.
And then when I went to the post office to mail it, as soon as I got to the desk, the computer went down. So I had to wait around for like 15 minutes.
So the post office cannot function without their computers.
No, they're all connected to computers now. So he said that it's much better now. It used to take 45 minutes for them to reboot. So I don't know. So, it was just like, when's it going to stop? I wasn't sure, but now I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. This was what I was looking forward to this. Looking forward to being here. This is almost as good as the convent.
Nice, nice. So I got a visit from our friend Josh yesterday, and I found it very, very satisfying because we got in. He brought up a topic that I like discussing. Oh, you don't have a beverage, do you?
No, I'll be okay.
You want a tea?
No, I don't want to. I'll be okay.
Okay. So he brought up a topic that I like, and that's the topic of identity. And so the subject came up of you have an identity. Everyone has an identity, and do you relate to the identity, or do you relate to what's underneath the identity?
Excuse me.
Can you get Paula one of those True Teas?
Or something. Yeah, maybe it'll help. Thank you.
One True Tea coming up for you.
True tea.
Yeah.
A true tea. Thank you. And two.
If you drink it, you must tell the truth.
Oh, I know a lot of people. I would buy a case. All right, so your identity. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I told Josh, I says, my version of identity is it's a mask that you wear. And I'm okay with whatever mask somebody wants to put on. But when I want to talk past the mask. I want to talk to the entity behind the mask.
It's hard. Not everybody will do that with you.
And Josh said he disagrees. He said, when I do what I'm doing, going past the mask, I'm violating the right to wear a mask.
And he's also setting himself up to be vulnerable,
My thoughts exactly.
which is very hard for most people.
So the question came up, if a person asks me a question, say like, what do you think of the state of America right now?
Hmm.
Do I give an honest answer to the real person behind the mask, or do I take the mask in consideration and give them a polite answer that the mask will consider appropriate?
Hmm.
I said I always go for the first case, you know?
Hmm.
And that bothered Josh because Josh is into internet culture.
Hmm.
In fact, a lot of people who are into internet culture are like that. In other words, they only know the
Their
mask.
avatar.
Yeah, that's all they know with other people.
Yeah.
So they meet somebody who wants to go around the avatar and they, oh no, that's wrong. You shouldn't do that.
Mm.
This is a really good conversation we had. And then you know what I thought of at the end?
Mm.
We could have been sitting at this table recording it, and all these people could join in with us.
He may not have liked that though, because if he's leery about going past the mask, he doesn't want people to know there's even a mask.
That's a possibility.
You know, because you're maybe somebody that he feels comfortable enough to say, my persona,
Yeah,
you know, I do have something behind the persona, but I don't want to discuss it.
yeah.
Whereas most people don't even want to say that there is a persona. This is me. It's a real me.
I know people who have said that, those exact words to me. What mask? You know, I have no mask. Oh, you don't?
I used to have a bulletin board in my kitchen when I lived upstairs from my mother. And I would have pertinent comics on the bulletin board. So the one I had that I loved, and I had it on there all the time. In fact, I think I still have those. I should look for them.
Did you go with the strip or the single panel?
Mostly, well, whatever I felt was applicable to my life.
Mm-hmm.
So the one I had was Snoopy. Okay. So Snoopy was doing his Snoopy dance
Yeah.
as one of the characters was walking by. And then when the character walked by, Snoopy just slumped.
Mm.
And then in the next panel, Snoopy's doing his dance because there's another character walking by.
Right.
And then as goes, he slumped.
Yeah.
And the caption was, "This is exhausting."
Sure. In other words, you're one person when you're observed and another person when you're not observed.
Right. You
Wow.
are putting. Yeah, I I love that comic. That was one of my.
That's a great one, Paula.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have those in my. I've got so much in my file cabinet in the basement. You know, all the articles that Greg and I wrote and everything. I think it's time I go through that thing, and if I find that, I'll send you a copy of it.
Oh, I would love
Yeah,
that.
it's. I mean, I might be a little off, but that was the gist.
So that's exactly what I talked about with Josh. Was exactly. It was like training for talking to Vanessa. Because Vanessa only wants the persona discussed. So anyway, that was good. And
Well, I don't know. Is it the persona with her, or does she not want to? She just wants to be acknowledged for her feminine
that's a
side.
persona.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, with me,
So this is what
yeah.
Josh said. How do you know you're getting beyond the mask, beyond the persona? And I said, this is good. Like, what's the real and then what's the imaginary? And I said, the real is constantly changing. So even if you think you're getting around the mask to the real, it could change in an hour. See?
Okay. Yeah.
So-
Something could happen in that hour
Sure.
that would adjust who you are. Yeah, I've had that happen quickly with people saying things to me.
Right.
Snap changes.
Sure. And then I said to another person, the Perez, who I don't think you've met him, but he's a very religious person.
Yeah, I've seen him though on the show.
Yeah. And he said the same thing. I have no mask. I am exactly who I am. And I said, well, you're not the same person you were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to know why I know that, Prez? Because everything that's alive changes.
Yeah.
And then he said, well, Jesus is alive in me. And I said, well, if Jesus is alive, then Jesus is changing.
Yeah.
So it was fun. It was very insightful. And I kind of wished we had actually been able to put it out there for everybody to enjoy.
Well, I think that may have been part of the reason I was so exhausted by this vacation, because I could not relax from that persona. I tried to with Ruth a little bit.
Right.
But that didn't really pan out. But, I didn't know these people. I didn't trust them yet. I didn't know
Sure.
how much of myself to reveal.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I'll get a story will pop into my head, and I know it's going to reveal something about me that maybe I don't want them to know just then. But I make that decision. I'm just going to say it and see how they respond.
Sure.
Yeah. And they usually don't respond well. So,
well, that's one of the main criticisms of Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It teaches you if you put on this persona, you will make friends. And then the criticism of that is the joke. I did everything Dale Carnegie said, but I'm never going back there again because it's too exhausting to keep up that facade.
Yeah, see, I mentioned, I've had this conversation with Greg because that's, as you know, his Bible.
Sure.
He said, the trick is, he says it doesn't work if it's just that. You have to be sincere. You have to sincerely be interested in finding out about people. You have to sincerely want to help people. He says, if you do it just to get friends and then you don't mean it, you're not going to keep those friends. They're not going to be around. And I thought, I think a lot of people have that idea about the book, but Greg read it, he said at 19. We just had this conversation. And he said he read it at 19. He said, I had a lot of friends. I didn't need any more friends. But he said, I wanted to know how to interact with people. And he learned a lot, and he feels, and I think he's right, because I hear him on the phone with some difficult people sometimes. He's sincere in wanting to know what's going on in their life, and he does make sincere comments about how he thinks that they're thinking incorrectly. Without criticizing and saying you're not thinking right. Saying, well, this is how I see it. Right. So he's really good at that, and I have to give him credit because I've never read the book, but I know he's told me enough about it to know that he is just. I wouldn't have thought this. Oh God, it's been 30 years.
That you've known me or him?
That I've known both of you. I mean, I knew you before that because I came here with Kenny to do his demo tape.
In the 70s.
And then those pictures of me, because I thought I was going to go into, I was going to try to act.
It was a classic photography shoot.
That was fun. It was so fun.
Good example of how photography can bring people closer.
Yeah. So I've known you longer, but it was for a very brief period. And then when I came back and I saw your show, and then I said, Kathy, I think it's that guy that I met when I was, with Kenny.
Yeah.
She says, yeah, that's him. Who else would do that show? So 30 years since your retrospective. Because that's where I met Greg. And that was the same year that you and I started doing work together.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah. That was in October.
It was. That's why I'm saying here we are in October.
Well, October is my month of my birthday.
Yeah,
and people are already,
mine too.
They're already sending me birthday greetings. Because it's easier to remember a month than an exact day.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me.
Yeah.
It's better than not remembering at all.
Yeah.
So I already got 2. I got one from Judy Einach, and I got one from Fred
nice.
Moore.
Very nice.
And then I said to them, at 12:01 a.m. on October 25th, I'm going to take a photo of myself. Should I send it to you? So I asked them that.
Yeah.
And then I said, but since you were nice enough to remember the month, I'm going to give you my official birthday cartoon. Single panel, you know?
Yeah.
And so I sent them the official birthday
Good.
cartoon.
Yeah. That's nice. That's nice that that was very thoughtful of, well, Fred, you've been friends with Fred for a long time. And Judy, yeah, I mean, guess she's been around for a long time too.
Yeah. And the only thing about Fred is I put in very big letters at the end, leave me a voicemail if you read this. And he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So now I got to think, do I have to send it to him in a paper form?
Well, does he have a cell phone?
Yes, and I left him a text message. And the text message said, I want you to text me back or leave a voicemail. Because he likes leaving voicemails.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear anything.
Well, yeah.
So I think I'm going to have to actually send him
Yeah.
paper letter.
Print.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. I feel like there's so many people that I'd like to connect with, and I just can't connect with everybody. It's gotten to the point now with the kids, though. By next year, I don't think I'll have to be helping Emma with her homework 3 days a week. I think she'll be in middle school next year. So that's
Is that the equivalent of 7th and 8th? Or 6th,
6th, 7th, and 8th.
I see.
So she'll be in middle school, and things are going to be different as far as my contact with the kids. And his mother, I try to see her every 11 or 12 days. I don't like to do it every week.
You said, oh, Greg's mother.
Greg's mother.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, and she's, I'm not wishing her I'm wishing her evil, but, she can't live forever, can she? I can't. That was a bad comment. So,
that's actually the theme of my birthday this year. The theme
that
is...
you can't live forever?
Well, sort of. I worded it differently.
Yeah.
You don't have as much time left as you think you do.
Oh, no kidding. And Greg and I talk about that all the time, because we think, we're like kind of guessing how long we have.
Yeah.
But anything can happen.
Right.
I mean, I know people who get diagnosed with cancer on Thursday, and by next Thursday they're dead.
Wow.
So anything can happen. Just got to enjoy. And that's why I get so mad at myself when I get like this, like tense and aggravated, and it's like, I'm wasting hours of my little time I have left.
Yeah.
In that mindset.
Uh-huh.
And I even tried on the vacation, like the things that we did see some horses. I'm going to send. If I send you a picture, can you send it to Richard?
And
Okay.
then I put it in a special folder for him.
Okay. So I'm gonna grab these pictures off the phone. So Richard, pictures.
Oh, are these the ones that you've already sent me? Because if they
Oh, did I send you? I sent you. Oh yeah, I sent you a little video, and I sent you the nice picture of the horse.
Okay, good. I will send him the picture or the video?
Yeah,
Tom?
the picture. Because that picture, I was really close enough to touch the horse, but I didn't.
That's the fascinating thing about that. Okay, it's called Untitled.
Yeah.
He's got it. Isn't that quick? You went boom, boom,
Wow.
boom.
Yeah, it's technology is amazing me, even though it aggravates me sometimes. The guy on the phone with Fios today, he was able to get into so I could use my camera to show him what was happening with my TV.
That's incredible.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, that was wild. Yeah, if he wouldn't have been so insistent that I needed some upgrades, I would have actually liked them. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
are you like 6 feet away from this horse, or did you zoom in on him?
no, I was not 6 feet away. What happened is I sat on a pier. You know,
Yeah.
this was a place where they have a boat launch.
Yeah.
This is on the canal side. It's not on the ocean side.
Okay.
So I sat on the pier, and all of a sudden, there was a place where the boat launch was right next to me,
Yeah.
and the horse comes cobbling down that ramp,
Yeah.
and he goes in the water, and he gets a drink of water, and he kind of swishes around,
Yeah.
and then he turns around to leave, and I could have reached out and touched him.
Oh, that close?
Yeah.
So if this was a wild horse, this horse has gotten used to humans.
Well, it's used to humans because there's humans all over the place. But then there was another scenario where I had been sitting on well, first of all, Greg was sitting on a park bench. And, you know, Greg does not have a very high threshold for adventure at all.
Okay.
He was sitting on the park bench reading.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's two horses. And no, one horse. And it's eating the grass, like coming toward him near the table, and Greg doesn't realize that the horse is this close to him. So basically, the horse could have eaten his shoelace at this point.
Wow.
And one of the horse tenders, or, you know, there's people that volunteer and they keep people away from the horses.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was kind of, I was in this corral area, but it wasn't at this time. So the horse is coming over to Greg, and the guy says, "Watch out, the horse is there." And of course, Greg thinks the horse is going to kick him in the head immediately.
I see.
Because he doesn't like the idea. I mean, I've ridden horses, not wild ones, but, you
Right.
know. So Greg got up and he scurried over to the other park bench farther away. But when I went in there, those horses that you just saw in the video, I was sitting there just watching them, and they were just eating. There's persimmon trees. And apparently these wild horses love persimmons.
What is that like?
It's
is that a fruit?
It's a fruit, but it's not, I don't think it's real sweet. I don't know. I don't think I've ever eaten one. But the horses love them. So they're picking them off the tree and they're eating them. And I'm just sitting there and I'm watching the horses. And I wasn't, they say you're supposed to be 50 feet away.
I see.
Now, I didn't approach the horses approached me. You know, so I'm thinking this doesn't count. I'm just watching them. Turns out they're two stallions. And all of a sudden, on the other side of the fence come two mares. And one mare in particular that both of these horses have been fighting over.
Oh.
So there's like a, you know, societal thing where there's
Yeah, who gets the mate?
who gets them to mate with the horse. So crazy horse lady starts screaming at me saying, get out of there now, get out, the mare is here. And she's saying, they're fighting over her. And like, you saw them, they looked very placid, you know. But then as soon as I got out of the corral, because they corral in the people more than the horses.
Ah.
So the horses can't get to you.
Uh-huh.
But there was a problem. There was a hole in the fence.
Okay.
So I get out of the corral and I'm standing there, and the two stallions walk over to the mare, and sure enough, but the mare's on the other side of the fence.
Oh.
So they're starting like,
Are they
you know,
communicating to the mare or to each other?
they're yelling at each other.
Wow.
And then the mare is just kind of like hanging around. Then she brought a friend. So there's two mares.
Oh, so everybody could be happy.
But that's not how horses work. You know, there's a hierarchy. If the male who is dominant gets one, he's going to get both.
Ah,
He doesn't like share.
I see.
You know, they want their DNA to be. You know, they
see.
don't define it like that, but they want the offspring to be theirs.
Right.
Their progeny. Is that the right word?
Yep.
So anyway, we got to see a little horse action, but they didn't mate because they were on the wrong side of the fence. But there were a lot of people around watching to see what was going to happen.
Was there any horse biting horse or stomping?
No, but they were threatening each other like poof with their front paws. The one was the obviously the alpha horse was showing the other horse, I'm alpha. You can't touch these mares. So
Were you affected by the news of Jane Goodall's death?
oh yes, I was. Jane Goodall, what a woman. I know I'm romanticizing this too. I get myself into so much trouble, Richard, by my imagination and how I think of things. Would I have liked living with gorillas or chimpanzees, right? Chimpanzees. Maybe, but would I have enjoyed getting feces thrown at me? Maybe I could have lived with that. But I don't know if I could have done what she did, but it makes me think, because she did it, what a wonderful thing to do that would be, to get to know those animals like that and to
Yeah.
live with them. But you have to have so much patience and so much, you got to take very accurate notes, and she was amazing. She was just, I've heard her talk. I'm not live, but on, video.
Yeah. Do you know how she got the gig with the chimpanzees?
I remember reading about it, but I can't recall off the top of my head.
She was a student, and her teacher was studying chimpanzees. So she said, "Could I be your intern?" And he said, "Sure." So come over to where I'm working with the chimpanzees. She did. He said, "I'd like you to just go sit there and observe them. I got to do something else." Then when he came back an hour later, he saw she was interacting with them. And he came back and he said, "You're my permanent assistant from here on in. I'm going to just talk this over with the department about you getting into the program."
Because she was able to,
He saw she had the gift.
See, I know, more romantic thinking.
Our friend Lou.
Oh, hi, Lou. Monkey business. Lou, I told the story about your brother's girlfriend, Pat, because I thought that was remarkable that here we are in North Carolina, in a secluded place, and all of a sudden she shows up. They live her and her husband live in North Carolina now. So, yeah, I thought that was amazing. Monkey business. Yeah, so when I was a little kid, my mother would walk me to school, and there'd be dogs chained up in backyards, watchdogs. They weren't dogs to approach.
Right.
And when I was a little kid, fearless of animals, I would just walk up to these chained up dogs and pet them. And my mother would faint, basically.
So the dog sensed you were fearless, and they kind of accepted that.
I know, I was so excited to see, a dog, let's go play. And I was so happy to see them. I guess they must have sensed that I was not a danger at all.
Sure.
But, this was the first time I ever gotten bit by a dog, was this time at my niece's.
So it took you totally by surprise.
Yeah, I've always been able to talk to animals. And that's why I always thought, what a job, just hanging out with chimpanzees, just getting to know them, and and communicate with them. And I've always admired her. She was always one of my favorite women.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it affect you?
Well, I've had a lot of respect for her, and then you get to see all these clips of her talking and everything. She knew how
gentle.
She knew how to say good morning in chimpanzee language.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that's. I like to think that I can communicate with my daughter's dog, because the dog will say different things when it wants different things. So I've learned how to mimic that, and I think it confuses her. You want to be let out? But
the dog has a way of communicating to you what it wants.
Do you want to go out? Do you want a treat? Regular, yes, exactly. I romanticize that too. I think now that I'm I've come up with this, and I understand this about myself. It's what's gotten me into trouble all the time. You know, this romantic notion of life.
Oh.
You know, that I don't think anybody. That's why I say I live on the planet Paula, where nobody does anything bad to anybody, and everybody's kind and generous, and you know.
So you're painting yourself like Don Quixote. You have this view in your mind as to how the world works. And then
How
other
I-
people
yeah.
are saying that's not how it really works.
Well, that's what Greg said to me before this vacation. What he said to me was, it sounds like a nightmare, being isolated without being able to get to the car. And I said, but we're going to have a beach and horses walking around, and just we're going to be communing with nature.
Mm.
And I think he still was thinking, sounds like a nightmare.
Mm.
And but I don't want to be that skeptical either. I want to be someplace in between where I can be realistic
Mhm.
and not risk averse. You know, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere. I don't know. I've never achieved it,
Mm.
but I'm glad I've never been so glad to see my house before in my life. You know,
Mm.
it was nice. The house, my bed,
Mm.
you know, our television, which of course now isn't. We can't use the remote control, so you know.
So the remote didn't get fixed.
No, I have to get a different remote, and he wanted to send one to me, but I thought I would go to the I've developed a relationship with the guy at the one Verizon store,
Mhm.
so I would rather go there and let him get credit for
Mm.
if they get credit for sales and stuff.
I had to call my bank because somebody paid me with a money order,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know how do you deposit a money order other than going to the bank.
Yeah.
So so I called up my bank, which is Wells Fargo. Now Wells Fargo has this reputation of like getting close to the line or crossing the line. And this is another example of Wells Fargo getting close to the line. When you call up Wells Fargo, they say, press 1 for this, 2 for this, or stay on the line and hear about a free offer. I said, okay, I'll listen to the free offer. So you stay on the line and you're transferred to a company that is selling, press the button around your neck and a medical people come.
Oh, okay.
And the person said, oh, so you're here for the free offer. I said, sure, yeah, tell me about this. And he asked how old you are, do you live alone, et cetera, et cetera. And he says, yeah, you qualify for the free offer. I said, well, what is it exactly? We give you the little medallion with a
Medical
button
alert,
on it,
yeah.
keep it on your neck, 24/7. If you fall down, you press it immediately. Like you tell us, do we call a friend or do we call a ambulance? What do you want? And so he goes through the whole speech, and I kept saying, it sounds good, it sounds good. And then he says, and it's only $50 a month for the service.
Yeah.
And I immediately hung up.
Yeah.
See, that's what I thought. When you tried to reason with them,
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to be wasting this time if I stay on the line. So I said, I knew there was a catch, and I hung up.
Yeah.
And then maybe the next person he calls, he'll tell that earlier in the call.
Oh no, they want to hook you, because by that time they're thinking, oh, you really see the benefit of this service that we're going
Uh-huh.
to charge you $50 a month for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're anywhere near needing medical alert. Besides the fact, don't you carry your phone with you all the time?
It's pretty much the same thing as a phone for people
Yeah.
who don't carry phones.
Exactly.
So, like, I was thinking, well, if it's for free, I'll look into it. But then came the catch, and
Well, the thing is for free, but not the service.
no, not the service.
Probably a $5 contraption.
Could be.
Yeah. So, yeah, I know that. Did I mention to you about the phone call I made for my sister? My sister had gotten scammed by some company telling her that she won $400,000.
And what did she have to do to retrieve it?
Well, I didn't get far enough into the call, because I called them and I said, and I tried to sound feeble, right?
Right.
Hello, I got a call from someone and they said they needed to get in touch with me right away. I don't know exactly what this is about, but I would be interested in talking to someone. And they did call me back. And they never called me. I got the number from my sister. But so they insisted that they had called me and they were waiting for me to return their call. And that all I had, so basically they wanted some information. First, they wanted information off my driver's license. And they told me I won $400,000. And they said, that's why we were trying to reach you. They never tried to reach me. That's why we were trying to reach you, because nobody's been able to reach you. Well, I said, but you reached me.
Yeah.
How were you able to reach me?
Right.
And they said, well, they must have, you filled out a form and you must have put the wrong phone number down, maybe by one number or something. And so we were able to find you on the computer. And so they never found me. So I said, after he asked me for information off my driver's license, I said, actually, you called my sister who has Alzheimer's. And she was confused. I said, I'm reporting you, and I'm blocking your number. And so I went online and I found the fraud report thing, and I also found the thing that you can check to see if your identity's been hacked. And I gave that to my other sister, who will check that for my sister. But that was so. It's like,
I mean, there's a special contempt everybody has of those who prey on the elderly. Wouldn't you agree?
Except for those who do it. They think they've come up with a great idea. Oh, there's so many of those scams. And the thing is, you just have to use your head. Social Security is not going to send you a text. They're just not. They're still sending out those 3-page letters that could really be reduced to 1 page. They don't send texts. So.
Well, something similar came up in the public discourse. More and more schools are telling the students, give us your phone at the beginning of the day, we'll give it to you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then if you're a special needs person who has to have your phone, then we're going to work something out where maybe you have a flip phone, it's not a computer phone, something like that. So the question is coming up, is social media hurting young people's mental health?
I think so.
Because they're very fragile, and then somebody says something mean and they're upset and everything. So what do we do about that? And there's 2 schools of thought. I'd like to know which school you subscribe to. School number 1 is, you say to the people at Facebook and at Instagram and these other platforms, change your programming so that maybe you contact me and you find out if I do have a child and how old they are, and then they will be blocked until they reach a certain age. So there's that. So it's like, come on, corporations, do the right thing.
Yeah.
So block access. Then you know what the second school of thought is? Leave everything the way it is, but teach the children critical thinking.
I'm not saying they're not capable of learning it. Who's teaching them that now?
Nobody.
The school's not.
Right.
The parents don't have critical thinking thoughts of their own. Who's going to teach them this? What are you going to have, like a thing like if you're getting your driver's license? Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe you need a license to engage in social media. You have to take a class.
Well, you could actually say you need a license to own a computer phone.
Right. So you need to get training.
Yeah.
You need to engage in critical thinking.
Right, which is going to be on the test.
And you need to pass an exam, just like you do for a driver's license.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more likely than the parents or the schools teaching them critical thinking, leaving everything the way it is. But I don't think the other thing would work either, because kids go on
Oh,
and they
they'll
lie.
borrow somebody's phone.
They lie. They say, I'm 18.
I mean, kids hire adults to buy beer for them, so they
Oh,
can
my
figure
God.
out workarounds.
The Lovejoy liquor store, there was it was always like a 16 underage kids out there waiting for the first indigent to walk in the door.
And there was probably kids over 18 who needed money. I'll just keep going into the store for people.
Well, there were a lot of like winos, we used to call them, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to get you involved in drinking at an early age." That's what I did. I didn't turn out so bad, did I? Yeah. So yeah, I think I don't know what the answer is, but I mean I like this idea of having to get training, and like for a driver's license and getting a license for a smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you look out for. This is, I worry a lot about sexual predators. There's a lot of people, men who are older preying on younger girls. I mean, Instagram is all about these young girls just jumping around in front of the camera. So that's a pedophile's dream, Instagram.
Do you think that Diddy got a fair trial?
I don't know much about it. I know he got 4 years in prison. I don't know what kind of prison it's going to be.
Good point.
But I mean, he's at least doing something for his offense. At least he's paying social justice or something. I don't know. I don't know much about what he did. I don't know much about how he got, if it was a trial by jury, I'm imagining, not just a judge.
I don't know either.
Yeah. So I don't know much about P. Diddy, period. There's too many other things to pay attention to. There's our society's falling apart. And
That's funny you should say that, because that was one of my topics.
that we didn't even get to any of your topics. Let's go ahead.
Okay. How you can tell if a society is falling apart. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Number one, are the people turning against each other? Are they divided by race, religion, gender, region, education, income, and whether we live in the city or the country? Number two, is there a pool of white men who are pissed off because they've been left behind economically?
Is that's a common part of it? Really?
In societies that are like in Rome, there was
Wow.
that feeling. Yeah. Let's see. This is another thing. Are union membership declining, where workers get together and bond and raise everybody's standard of living?
Right.
Are programs being removed that lift people out of poverty and into the middle class? Is education for free? Is healthcare inexpensive? Is are companies moving to cheap foreign countries for low wages and sending the products back here?
That is something Trump keeps trying to change.
Yeah.
Keeps saying no foreign-made pills, for instance. They all come from China now.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. He's trying to do it through tariffs.
Yeah.
Which is kind of,
Yeah. It's
if there was a way to do it, that wouldn't be it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because you know what he will do to lift a tariff? Is if you pledge to build a factory here.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be gone, and he'll be either dead or
Yeah.
he'll be out of office in 3 years.
Hopefully.
The pledge doesn't mean anything.
We've got 20. Is there anything on there about the media trying to be controlled by the government?
Yes, there is.
That's the one I'm worried about.
Yeah. You know, a society is falling apart if books are banned. And if teachers who teach from those books are being fired.
Or